Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Hi.
I was a bit nervous about doing this because it's the first time we've done this, so I'm like, oh.
Don't worry, we've had lots of first timers on here, so it's fine. It's just having a chat.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to introduce you to Brian, and then he's got all the obviously questions that you sent to him. So
Brilliant.
Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
Hi, Brian. I can just about see the top of your head.
Yeah, well, I'll adjust that round. I'm just propping you in a spot.
That's
Forgive me for
okay.
putting it that way.
I normally have a problem with the positioning.
Right.
Lovely. That's it. Yes, I can see you now. Well, welcome to our Spa PR Takes 10. Thank you for joining us. I'll just do a little bit of intro on you. So today we're talking gift cards or gift vouchers with the man who knows them better than anyone else in the industry, Brian Dunne. And Brian's actually known as Mr. Gift Card himself. So we couldn't have a better guest on to talk to us about his expertise on this subject. Brian is also a joint owner of Lavish, which supplies spa, beauty and wellness gift cards to the industry, and also a founder of Gift Card Consulting. So Brian, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tracy. I'm absolutely delighted to be here, so thank you.
Oh, I know, it's a pleasure to have you, and I'm really looking forward to finding out, more about this subject, which is so important to our industry. With coming out of lockdown, now we have a roadmap, and hopefully we can stick to those dates, for the 17th of May for opening. I think gift cards play an important role, in trying to recover some of that lost revenue. And also with Mother's Day coming up, again, there's an occasion that, is very popular for gift card purchasing.
Absolutely. No question about it. And it's, I've actually broken a little gap in the gift card and voucher association conference, which is on right now, to be here right now. So I've got some very, very relevant and up-to-date information for you. So so humbled to be able to share that with the group. So thank you.
Thank you so much for taking this break from the conference, because I know there's so much information and networking to do at these sort of events. It's so important, but we really appreciate you joining us, and we'll be sharing all this knowledge afterwards anyway, so with all our contacts. So let's start, for those of us, who don't really know the gift card market that well, tell us a little bit of background about its size and how important it is to the UK economy.
Yeah, sure. So it's in terms of size, it's £8 billion.
Wow.
Which is a significant size of the economy.
Yes.
So my own personal background is I was a director of Whitbread PLC. So we had brands like David Lloyd Leisure, you'll know many of the Costa Coffees and Premier Inns, Marriott, etc. So it's extremely important for, well, we'll use the word merchant, but the retailer. So fundamentally, for an average retailer, gift cards would account for about 5% of their sales.
Right.
It's much more significant when you're a more giftable retailer. So fundamentally, it's important for Tesco, but people would not generally gift Tesco in the same proportions they would for Mother's Day gifting a spa experience. So significantly important for spas. I think the challenge is actually getting them and the distribution points. So not everybody, especially if mum lives in one place and you live in another, and then how do you physically go about getting the gift card for her favorite spa? So that's a logistical challenge that sits there. That's serviced by many of the kind of the top retailers. So we will sell into distribution channels like Sainsbury's and Asda and WH Smith's and all those other sort of places, which then facilitate you getting a gift card, but also giving a choice to the customer, which is as to where they spend it, all within a spa environment.
Absolutely. So that's really the role that sort of Lavish plays within the industry, doesn't it? Sort of bridging that gap.
It is, and I think also you touched upon it a little bit earlier. It's fascinating to see that despite a really difficult retail landscape, gift cards are about the only number that's in black, that's in positive, on a retailer's sales. So the gift card industry has grown by 5.8% last year. Some big shifts in there. So business to business is now significantly more than business to consumer. So I think lots of people realize, oh yes, you can just go and get an M&S gift card in M&S or a Boots gift card in Boots. But fundamentally, the B2B side has overtaken. Digital distribution is, as we can all understand, really important.
Yeah.
But a big part of this is giving a customer a choice as to when to buy your spa experience.
Absolutely.
So that's probably the biggest bit. The Americans use the word pay it forward, but fundamentally it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I mightn't, because of restrictions, be able to go and see Mum.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is to be able to give her something that gives her a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness, something to look forward to. And what a better thing than actually helping her with something that you know that she'll thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think we also need to cut into a fundamental need that's developing in the economy, and that's about well-being. And we as an industry, we as a spa industry, are absolutely in the crosshairs on the target with regards to that. So how much better could it be than to give Mum that thing that says, look forward to this, go along and have a wonderful experience and feel a lot better afterwards.
Yeah.
And sorry, Tracy.
No, I was just going to say, and what's even better is that when you buy a gift like that, quite often you can buy it for yourself too, so you can go along together. So it's like a gift for you and a gift for them.
No, absolutely. And it's it's interesting. I just listened to the head of Dixon's Carphone talking a few minutes before I came on, and he said it's the only piece of marketing material that's got 100% return to the customer. So fundamentally, every gift card that you sell or any degree of cost associated with it have 100% hit rate.
Yeah.
As against any form of social media or any form of other marketing that you do.
Really?
You put an advert on a billboard, you hit 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million, and you can never identify that. Whereas actually with gift card, you do know that actually every gift card sold is, has a direct advantage for you in terms of customers coming in.
Yeah.
But probably more importantly is it's forgive me for using the word viral in this year, but it's the viral impact. So Tracy, I get to know you, and then I want to say thank you. I want to say, I appreciate what you've done. So I not only do I like a item, I actually put money in the till and say, Tracy, I want to give you an experience that is this spa experience. And that's fundamentally a lot stronger than a like, as all the marketeers talk about, and followers. This is absolutely where I put money in the till, and it's forced sampling. So it's for a service industry, this is like Estee Lauder putting a sample of shampoo on the side of Cosmopolitan magazine. But actually for a service industry, this is how we get new customers in. And I'm going to quote for a second Howard Schultz, who's the ex-CEO of Starbucks. 3 years ago at the Starbucks conference, he described very clearly that third-party distribution of gift cards is the largest recruiter of new customers into his stores. Wow. And that's Starbucks, and the distribution that they have. Yeah. So fundamentally, it's really, really important in introducing new customers. Gift cards are fundamentally a recruiter of new customers. The experience that you provide the customer with is fundamentally the retention. So, it is very interesting how it does recruit a new customer. And to that point made earlier, the fact that you through B2B, so a company says, look, well done, and companies more and more so are pushed around a wellness agenda, pushed around, I need to give something to somebody. How many organizations have gyms and have all sorts of things like Fruit Friday and whatever else?
Yeah.
But actually, all of those services are unavailable to employees right now because the employees are not going into the workplace. I was talking to the guys from KPMG yesterday, and they're talking about a real change in our behavior from a 5-2 week, in other words, 5 days in the office, 2 days at home. People will change to a 2-5. So 2 days in the office and 5 days, at home, working from home, or the weekend sort of thing. So they don't have those facilities. So if you're working in the city, you don't have the benefit of the Citibank gym or whatever. But you do need to be given things that will allow you to have wellness activity type encouragement, and that's done by way of a gift card for sure. One of the reasons the gift card has worked so very well is it's kind of a contactless way of transacting. I don't physically need to go to you, Tracy, to give you a bottle of perfume or a bunch of flowers. I physically can send you an e-gift and you just enjoy at your leisure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so accessible. Now you can just download. It's so easy for people to, particularly those of us who are sometimes a bit last minute, it's a really lovely gift to give. So it doesn't look like you've forgotten at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And what's very interesting this year is we need to plan for 2 peaks. And normally we've got the peak around Christmas time, end of year, but there will be a peak when everything opens back up. And a big part of that is to be able to allow people to buy and then give the customer the choice as to when they spend. So there's a pretty big piece there. There'll be lots and lots, and the spa industry understand it as well as the hospitality industry is there'll be a whole load around pent up demand, about occupancy, about how do you manage that. And one of the things a gift card helps with is you get a committed sale. So the money's in the till, and then the customer comes back when it works for them, but also when it works for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think during lockdown, we've all, we've gone and bought things online, but we're really sort of hungry now for those experiences, particularly together with people, that we, value and want to spend time with. So I think I agree. We're already seeing that with our spas, that they've been inundated with inquiries, for bookings. And I'm sure the same is going for, the gift vouchers, so that people can then choose when they visit.
No, absolutely. And people also use this as a way of, it's slightly budgeting, Tracy, and it's slightly just kind of making sure that it's we use the expression jam jarring. It's like putting it into a virtual jam jar that sort of says, "Oh, that's my money for the spa. I'm not gonna not have that experience. It's a committed spend."
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. So with Lavish, what's your, I've always wondered, what's the sort of most popular, gift voucher that you sell? What do people tend to go for?
Well, so we're cash value. So fundamentally, we allow the customer to choose what they want.
Right.
But then most importantly, it allows them then to spend more when they're there.
Yeah.
And there's fantastic evidence for this, that actually 4 in 5 customers spent the voucher value on top.
Wow.
So they see it as free money, you see. So you give somebody a voucher for 50 quid, they actually see that as free money, and then they have their own money to spend on top. So they tend to go, even going back to my old Whitbread days, in TGI Fridays, we'd say they go large. We saw more desserts sold, more wine, more champagne. And as you mentioned, I'm a consultant, so I've done some work for the likes of Boots the Chemist. And it was very interesting there. We were able to overlay Advantage card data and see customer behavior. So you always see with a gift card a bigger basket. That's unquestionable.
Really?
But what was very interesting was what was within the basket in Boots. So fundamentally, you found a lot more perfumery, a lot more electrical,
Yeah.
and then a lot less of the soap and shampoo and deodorant and the sort of everyday.
Yeah.
I did some analytical. I'm a chartered accountant. I did some analytical work for Target in the US. So Target, for anybody who doesn't know, Target is the largest non-food retailer in the US. So 78 billion turnover. Target is yes, Walmart is number one, but it's predominantly food. Target is kind of, it's a kind of real mix between, if anybody remembers, Woolworths meets Debenhams, if you like, anything for the home. But effectively, Target finished the work with the definition that actually people buy what they want and not what they need with the gift card. So it is that aspirational piece. It's not designed as a utility. It really is. It's a treat.
Yeah, that's really interesting, the spend on top, you know, the fact that you've bought someone a voucher and they use it, but then they actually see that as extra money and want to spend on top. So that's really good, you know, such useful sort of information and value, particularly to our industry, who knows that even if they're going to use a third party like Lavish for a voucher, that they are going to gain, you know, incremental value sort of on top of that.
Absolutely, and I think the one thing we must also be very conscious of is the propensity to return. So because somebody has been given something at full face value, not discounted, full face value, their propensity to return is significantly higher than if they get a discounted experience. Yeah. So imagine for a second, and I know I was part of this research that we did in Marriott, but fundamentally, if somebody gets something, and let's say it's 50% off, they're emotionally more inclined to come back, but only when they've got 50% off again. Because they feel it slightly doesn't work in their mind. They feel slightly cheated if they think, well, hang on, the last time I got 50% off, I'm not going to I don't feel comfortable about going full price. Whereas the fact that you know, Ford Motor Cars might have given you, for test driving an automobile, they might have given you a gift card for a spa experience. Your employer gave you one for being a brilliant employee. Your friend gave you one because they bought it in Sainsbury's or Waitrose or whatever. Effectively, then you see it at full face value. And you know, that means you have a significantly higher propensity to return and become that regular customer. So it really is the lifetime value. So yes, the £50 voucher might well turn into 100, 130, 140 in store, but fundamentally it's that propensity to return. It's that lifetime value that's pretty important, Tracy. And it's why it's such a vibrant industry.
Yeah, I mean, that's so interesting, the psychology behind the gift voucher sort of selling and purchasing, you know, which I don't think a lot of people really understand.
Yes, no, absolutely. And Her Majesty's government has just issued an RFP, which we're very interested in. And their committed spend is 3.8 billion over the next 3 years. But when I look to countries like Italy, so in Italy, from a wellness agenda, spas are tax-free. So effectively, the Italian government issue through employment platforms a spa and other forms of activity. So it could be a tennis coach, it could be a gymnasium, whatever, but it's all within that sort of thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if Her Majesty's government and other governments actually decide to say, well, actually, we want to get our nation, we want the health service to be preventative as well as reactive. And as such, we're giving people encouragement, prepaid gift cards to encourage them to go out and do things that are activities.
Yeah, well, I think that's a campaign for the UK Spa Association.
There you go.
To get onto that, absolutely. No, we're all for that. Yeah, and no tax, you know, I think.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah. There is a trivial tax benefit in the UK of £50. Yeah. So an employer can give £50 free of BIK benefit in kind sort of thing. But you know, this would definitely extend it, and especially into the leisure space. And you know, the government want people to go out and be active.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how can spas at the moment, how can they make the most of their gift vouchers? Are there any sort of tips or tricks that you have that can help them sell more, or, you know, anything you've seen?
Yes. So I think first of all is have a gift card.
Yeah.
Two, make it pretty visible in all points that you can. So make it clear to customers that they can give your product and they can buy it in advance by way of a gift card. Three, a little bit technical, I know, but just try to add digital to your range.
Yeah.
And four, use guys like Lavish to actually extend your range from just your shop to then multiple stores across the country, WH Smith's or Sainsbury's or whatever else, you know, as well as all the B2Bs. And B2B, and we call it B2B2C, in other words, the selling through third-party stores, you know, that's well in excess of 50% of the market. So, and the other thing is the level of incrementality. So the level of incrementality, the level of trade that you weren't already getting is far higher with gift cards that are sold outside of your shop. So in your own spa, what happens more is somebody says, oh, I know my mum loves that place. I'm going to go along and get them one of those. What you find is you get far less of that and far more incrementality when somebody goes along and says, oh, I'm just going to get my mum a nice spa experience. I'm going to buy this in Sainsbury's, send it to her, and then she's going to choose where she's going to spend the money. And it's committed money to a spa. I'm going to choose where she's going to spend the money on the back of the redeeming choices that are on the likes of a Lavish.
Oh, interesting. Yes. No, that's really interesting. So, I mean, have you seen some of the like the mistakes that spas make with their gift vouchers? Are there, you know, any that you see and you think, oh, they shouldn't be doing that, they'll be much more successful if they did it this way?
Yeah, so I think it's almost a vice versa to what I said. I cringe when I find that actually they haven't got one available. And my wife is a huge spa goer and visitor, and the amount of times that you can't get one, or it's difficult to get. So actually, you know, I really don't want to have a paper certificate sent in the post. That's not how it works. And people increasingly now expect to get something quickly now, and you know, by email, by phone, whatever else. You know, there was a time, I'm old enough to remember record stores and whatever else. There was a time that you listened to a piece of music on Sunday night on the Top of the Pops, and then you might go downtown on next Saturday and get it. Those days are gone. You know, people expect to be able to download the tune right now. So actually, you've got to be the same in terms of a gift card. They expect a gift card to be available quickly, instantly, but it is all of those things, making it visible, understanding the value that's there in an other form of payment. That's very important. You get committed spend, you get more new customers who haven't been with you before. And you make sure that you've got a great bounce back from where we've been. So you know, there's a lot of money in the economy. There's a lot of spas that are wanting to regain ground and build up their balance sheets and build up their sales quickly. This is a great way of doing it. So, you know, Mother's Day coming on, etc. You know, will the industry be fully open by then? You know, how are they going to make it easy for somebody to say, hey, Mom, here's something for you, sort of thing. So that's the key thing. And also, you know, spas are not the most conducive environment, if I may say so, to get gift cards. So, you know, people don't always feel, it's not like going into Boots or going into WH Smith's. No. So understand that people feel more comfortable going into a Smith's and picking something up than they will do trying to find a spa, and maybe it's a gender thing, but you know, you just feel a little bit awkward going into somewhere that's not a familiar environment, that hasn't got a normal throughput like a Smith's or a Sainsbury's would have, or whatever else. So so yes, make sure that you're sold in so many different places. The fact the fact that it's redeemed in one spa, don't let that restrict you from selling in one spa. Go outside, sell in as many channels as you can, and take advantage of the fact that people want to buy spa, but often find it difficult to do so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You need to sort of, your brand needs to show up exactly when people are ready to buy, doesn't it? So you need to be sort of widespread and have that sort of outreach. And also, you know, what you were saying before about the B2B side, you know, that's where, you know, companies like yours with Lavish, you have access to those sort of closed user groups, don't you? So these big corporate companies that have, you know, thousands of people all desperate for wellness, you know, and the whole corporate wellness side is just growing. You know, it's going to be huge, and you know, and that's where spas and salons can really take, you know, advantage of that.
No, exponentially, Tracy, exponentially. I mean, it's huge. I'm a fellow of the Incentive Marketing Association, so I founded the European chapter, and that's got all the big B2B incentive motivation companies as part of that. So I keep my finger very close on that pulse, and you know, for sure things have changed dramatically, and you know, the role of the HR director has changed dramatically too. So you know, a year ago, Tracy, the HR manager was kind of pretty excitable about, you know, have we got bean bags in the canteen, or how many jelly beans are on the reception desk? But actually now it's really about the welfare of their employees. And you know, how do I make sure, because for so many employees, they have two jobs in an unconducive environment. So people have gone from doing their job in the office, getting out of the house, they then go home. They're then burdened, forgive me for being so crude about this, but they're then burdened with actually homeschooling children. And then on top of that, they're trying to do all this in their house. So for so many people, they're not comfortable. They're not set up around, oh, I've got a home office and whatever else. They don't. So actually, they're in their kids' bedrooms trying to have Zoom calls for work. I've got a colleague who's a lawyer, and his wife is a lawyer, and they've got 3 kids. Now, frankly, between John and his wife, they've got 2-hour shifts during the day, starting at 7 o'clock, to deal with the kids, and they swap over. You know, John's wife does 7 to 9, then he does 9 till 11. I mean, it's just incredible pressure. And that's where we really help, because we say, you know, go and do something, have some me time, and that's where the wellness agenda comes in so strongly. So you know, I kind of, you know, especially on the B2B side, I urge spas to be very, very conscious of the fact that they're now they are wanted, but they're also needed. So I think, you know, a lot of the demand, psychological demand, was driven by being wanted by somebody. I want a treat. I want to have a treatment. Whereas now, actually, they're needed by people just to give them a release. And you know, you can feel that there's, you know, it's a health thing. It is, you know, you're providing an essential key service. And I think our world has changed dramatically. And as such, I mean, and frankly, a year ago, if we really talked about wellness, people thought, oh God, I'm not well. What's wrong with me? Whereas now, of course, it's all part of normal parlance. It's fine to feel, you know, confined, sort of thing. You know, we've been blocked up like budgery guards for a year, sort of thing. So, you know, absolutely, people will want to come out, and that's where I think spas play such an important role. Absolutely.
Yeah. So for consumers who are going to buy a gift card, you know, do you have any sort of advice or things they should bear in mind when purchasing one? I mean, I always think it's quite difficult. I mean, I suppose it's sort of budget driven, but is there, and you know, and I also know that a lot of spas vouchers aren't actually redeemed. So I suppose one of the tips is to look at the expiry date or check the expiry date.
Yeah, so this is very interesting, and it's been quite a shift in the last year. So the first thing is offering the customer, and the customer is looking for this, a choice as to where they can redeem.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about foreclosures. So you know, for so many, they've had an Arcadia card, a Topshop, whatever. They've had a Debenhams card, they've had whatever else, and they're pretty nervous. So we've seen a significant shift in our industry towards choice. We call them choice cards, where they've got a choice of places, so that if unfortunately one particular retailer is in trouble, they're not caught out. They can go elsewhere, and there's much more foreclosures coming in the high street. You know, we've had this lapse. I mean, insolvencies, actually, interestingly, in the UK, insolvencies are running at 60% of the rate that they were before right now. Okay. So we're in this kind of plateau. Yes. There was a chunk at early lockdown. The real risk, and I thank the Chancellor publicly for what he did yesterday in terms of putting money back in to help businesses to reopen. And I hope the spa industry is covered in the 18,000 one. But I think that was very astute, because actually there is a cost, and hopefully the 18,000 covers it and whatever else. But there is quite a cost in reopening. And some of it is, we talk about latent demand in the market, but also there's a few latent bills, I'm sure, out there for things that need to be restocked, maybe bills that need to be paid and whatever else. So I think we will see, you know, greater publicity around the fact that actually make sure you can use your gift card, and that's where a choice plays well to the customer, because they think, okay, I can go to different places. I feel more comfortable with this, because if Watford North is closed, Watford South, which is under different ownership, is open, sort of thing. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And a piece of advice I'd give, because the spas are getting really busy again, if they can open on the 17th of May, is to, when you send a voucher to someone or you gift it to yourself, is to just book in as early as you can, because as I say, they are getting very busy, and it's not a case of normally that you can receive the voucher one day and book in for that weekend. So bookers,
and of course, a voucher is a form of on-time banded booking. So actually, rather than you saying, "Oh, hang on, I'm gonna book you in for the 15th of July," actually you say, "Look, I'm gonna buy you a voucher, so you choose when you want to go," and then the spa is not worried about all the bits of somebody not turning up. Have you made a booking? Do they cancel closer to the event and all that sort of stuff? And as you know, we're all a little bit conscious about being able to do things at a time set, because how many different shunts have we had over the last year in terms of being able to plan something and then thinking, oh, right, there's another XYZ. So I think people are conscious that they want to make a commitment, but they want a commitment that's not time banded. And that's where a gift card plays into its own, because somebody says, okay, fine, I've put the money there, I've committed it, you choose when you want to go. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that freedom, flexibility, isn't it? Yeah. Which is great. So, working in marketing, we quite often have gift vouchers to promote, and they're not the easiest thing to promote as a gift voucher. I mean, we always try to look at what it is you're actually selling within the gift voucher, and if it's not a monetary, what does that translate into being? But I just wondered if you had any sort of gift voucher campaigns that you'd seen that had been particularly successful, or things you'd seen companies even outside of the spa and hospitality industry doing that you thought that's quite clever. Yes, I think in the last year, I think where gift cards have been used to help to support businesses. So this is actually bigger in the States than it is here. Pretty big in Italy and other countries like that, but actually where they've said, support this business, put money in, and then know that you're going to come back at some stage later. Right. I think distribution to the vulnerable, distribution to healthcare workers, a way for a community to thank. And I know that Perth in Scotland was a great example of this, where they supported the local NHS, by way of giving them gift cards that then they could choose to use. Because obviously, one of the issues with key workers is they've been so busy.
Yes.
So actually, you need to be able to allow them to, have a treat, but at a time of their choosing, rather than saying, well, I know you're really busy, and hence I want to book you something that's going to take your time as well as give you a great experience. Yeah. So that's a good example of that. I think the fact that as an industry, we distributed close to £1 billion worth of childcare vouchers. So for food vouchers for school meals. Yeah. I mean that's another piece. But yeah. I mean it's gift cards should always be part of a marketing campaign. Because you're actually selling the product. You don't actually sell the medium, if that makes sense, sort of thing. Yeah. So you're actually selling a wonderful spa experience, but that happens to be distributed in a way that allows the customer to choose when they. Yeah.
And I think what you said, is right. It's about, tying it in with other marketing activities, such as, the community relations that you might be doing. So instead of just supporting in other ways, can you use the gift vouchers actually a way of supporting, and actually using that as a sort of vehicle to do that. So I think it's just, thinking more widely about gift vouchers and how you can integrate them into your sort of marketing strategy.
Yes, yeah, and I saw a lovely example of a spa near us here in Yorkshire where they did the hotel spa, where they did a wonderful thing around recommend a hero. Yeah. So actually, it was recommend a hero, and they were kind of closed, but it was a great way of being able to say, hang on, this nurse, this doctor, this guy who was delivering food for Morrison's or whatever, they'd been recommended, and then they won the following prizes. So I think it's those sort of things that were really important. I think the good news is, from a marketing point of view, and Tracy, you're clearly a marketeer, but I've learned a lot in the last year about really successful companies. For me, didn't try to sell in the last year. They just tried to care. Yeah. And they showed that they cared in the last year. And then now, of course, when things are open back up, they've got better goodwill, better collateral with the customer. So that then they go out, and then they can go out, and then people feel better about spending with X rather than Y, sort of thing. So so that I think that's an important factor. I think I think Waitrose first did it. So John Lewis partnership first did it with volunteer cards. So I think it's where you think about, can I use my product, but can I use it to solve a problem? Can I use it to put it to good cause? And that's where I go back to that point we were talking about a wee while ago, is that piece around, can you help employees? Can you help a group to actually have a better life balance, a better experience, something to look forward to when it's all been doom and gloom, because actually you're giving them your product at a time and a place that works for them. So that's the kind of key thing, I think, from a sort of, a marketing point of view that's relevant to this group. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at the gift card conference at the moment.
Yes.
And so what's the future for gift cards? Are there any sort of little nuggets of information you can send our way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think a few things. So first of all, a 25.6% growth in B2B. That's pretty phenomenal. That's pretty phenomenal. We normally grow in single digits. Yeah. So 25.6% growth in B2B, phenomenal. Digital has more than doubled. The third thing is the consumer. The consumer has learned to shop in a different way.
Yeah.
And as such is very demanding now on retailers to say, I want to buy you as I want to buy you. So you work it out, I'll choose how I want to shop. Because for so many, they've had to do things in a different way. The online grocery, for example, online grocery has more than doubled.
Yeah.
And people have made some step changes. So for some people who've gone for online grocery, they've actually had to put in computers at home. Mum who didn't use a computer before, all of a sudden gets a computer, puts her first order in and whichever grocer online, but now is hardwired into this as a way of doing things.
Yeah.
And also gets over this emotional thing of actually, the grocers are not just trying to, online do not bring you all the shoddy vegetables. They bring you the vegetables that everybody else gets. So there is that piece. The gift card side plays to that bit around, I want to shop as I want to shop.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't want to have to go to a spa to try to see whether you can make a booking for my mum that's actually a surprise. That if I say to her, oh, Mum, are you free next Tuesday afternoon? It kind of ruins the surprise. I want to be able to do something and allow me to choose how I buy your entity. Also with the choice, I think the cash value voucher is powerful because she might want treatment A rather than treatment B. That's a key factor. I think the movement to wellness and that overall holistic piece is very, very important. Very important. And also, I think we'll have an interesting situation over the next year / 2 years. So there'll be a lot that will be around. Will there be oversupply and under demand, or how is it all going to work? Will hotels be overbooked like you wouldn't believe because they got to find space? Equally in spas, they've got to find space.
Yeah.
So there is that question, and then how do you spread it out so you get really busy days? Then people think that something's completely booked, but actually what they don't realize is actually, yes, it's completely booked at the weekend, but it's not booked during the week.
Exactly.
But of course this mental thing goes in. Oh, you can never get a booking for their type of thing. So I think that will be it. I think on the back of so this year will be a year of staycation, and there's no doubt about it. 22 is a year of travel. It's interesting if you look at the predictions. Apparel, for example, will not recover this year. So fashion has had a really, really tough time, but fashion will not recover in 21. Fashion will only start to recover in 22 because we'll behave in a slightly different way. And I think what's very important for the spa industry and the spa gift card industry is to get into the world of staycation with treats. Yeah. So staycation is not just that cottage in Whitby. That staycation is actually going and building up other experiences around it. And I think what our world have got to understand is that people will be in the UK and will be available to the membership to actually be as very vibrant customers. People are more likely to spend on a treat when they're on holidays.
Yeah.
But importantly, they're going to be on holidays in the United Kingdom. So they mightn't be your local customer, but absolutely they are somebody who's staying local to you, who's on holiday. Yeah. And again, that whole piece of having gift card there, I'm sure we will do some significant work with a lot of the holiday guys on the B2B front, being able to package in a spa voucher alongside your stay. And of course, it's a great way of keeping price integrity in terms of, rent this cottage for £1,000 a week, but get a £50 spa voucher, all that sort of stuff. That's absolutely where the B2B stuff is.
Yeah, no, I think that's, you know, the staycation with treats is a nice term to use, you know, because that's something that, you know, spa destinations can sell really easily. And it's something that we all need as well. So that's really, really great feedback. Thanks, Brian. So much information there that, yeah, I'll be jotting down some of the notes we've made and making it into a little written piece to send out to all our followers as well. But thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Perhaps where we can find Lavish, if anyone wants to, you know, work with you as a partner,
Yes.
or, you know, as a consumer wants to buy a voucher.
Yes. So two bits. So lavish.co.uk is the website. So delighted if you come on there and just click onto that. If I give you my personal email address, it's Brian, BRIAN, at giftcard.consulting.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There's no .co or not any of that sort of stuff.
Great.
So Brian at giftcard.consulting. Very happy to answer any questions you have. Humbled, Tracy, thank you so much for this interview. Forgive me, I'm not even on Instagram, so forgive me. This is
You are now.
completely new experience sort of thing.
No,
pleasure.
Real pleasure, Brian. Thank you so much. It's all been so valuable, the information you've given. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to sharing with our spa clients and also the rest of our community, because, you know, certainly companies like Lavish play such an important role in helping them to, you know, recover some of that lost revenue, but also to make them stronger, you know, moving forward to the future.
Well, no, thank you. And can I also thank the people who very kindly, all these little love hearts coming up at the side of the screen. Thank you very much. It makes me feel wonderful. And Sophie Lowe, thank you for saying thank you to me as well. So I've got thousands of love hearts here. So I'm pretty special. So what a moment of gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Okay. Have a good day.
All right. And you too. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. What do I do now?